All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the staggering fortunes of India's 5 wealthiest individuals as of July 2026. And look, we're not just talking about extra zeros in a bank account here. We're literally looking at the massive engines that are driving the modern Indian economy. The sheer scale of these fortunes, it's honestly kind of hard to wrap your head around. But by digging into their foundational companies, their strategic pivots, and their succession plans, we get this fascinating look at the very core of global wealth.
Now, just take a look at how highly concentrated this wealth actually is. Right at the top, you've got Gautam Adani and Mukesh Ambani commanding over $90 and $89 billion respectively. I mean, that solidly places both of them in the top 25 globally. And then, then there's a massive drop-off to our number 3 spot, the Savitri Jindal family, who come in at a still highly impressive $37.7 billion. It's a pretty stark reminder of just how concentrated this top-tier wealth truly is.
So, to really understand how this wealth is built and maintained, we're going to break these empires down into 4 parts. First up, the top 2 in energy and infrastructure. Second, the steel empires of Jindal and Mittal. Third, biotech and beyond. And finally, we'll look at legacy, succession, and the future.
Let's kick things off with Section 1. Top 2, energy and infrastructure.
Sitting at number 1 in India and number 22 in the entire world is Gautam Adani, with a net worth of $90.3 billion. But you know what's really fascinating here? It's how tangible his wealth actually is. It's not just software or abstract code, it is the literal physical infrastructure of India. His Ahmedabad-headquartered group is heavily invested in ports, airports, power generation, you name it. In fact, he's India's biggest airport operator and controls the absolute largest port in the country, Mundra Port, right in his home state of Gujarat.
Right on his heels, at number 24 globally, is Mukesh Ambani. He commands an $89.3 billion fortune as the head of Reliance Industries. And Reliance? It is a true juggernaut, pulling in $125 billion in revenue. While Adani is all in on infrastructure, Ambani's empire spans incredibly diverse sectors. We're talking petrochemicals, oil and gas, massive retail operations, media, and of course, a sprawling telecom network. Now, the Adani Group's trajectory has been nothing short of a roller coaster. They started out as a simple commodities trading firm back in 1988, and the empire expanded incredibly rapidly alongside India's political and economic shifts. But then, fast forward to 2023, and they faced massive turbulence when the U.S. firm Hindenburg Research leveled these huge allegations of financial fraud and market manipulation. Adani strongly denied the claims, but stocks absolutely plummeted. Yet, they resiliently bounced back following a 2024 Supreme Court ruling in their favor, which sparked a really substantial stock recovery. The evolution of Reliance Industries offers a pretty striking contrast to that. Founded by Dhirubhai Ambani in 1966 as a small textile manufacturer and yarn trader, the empire actually split after his death in 2002. Since then, Mukesh has engineered a total transformation. Get this. They are currently pivoting toward an unbelievable $80 billion green energy investment over the next decade. All of this while preparing to list their massive 500 million subscriber telecom service, Jio, in 2026, fresh off the heels of listing Jio Financial Services in 2023. So how do you ensure a sprawling $125 billion empire thrives well into the future? Well, Ambani executed a very clear succession plan. In 2023, he strategically brought his 3 children onto the board, dividing the massive sectors right among them. Akash took the helm of the Jio Telecom business, Isha was put in charge of retail and financial services, and Anant was given control of the energy operations. It is a highly calculated division of power designed to manage just unprecedented scale.
All right, moving on to Section 2. Let's look at the steel empires of Jindal and Mittal. The $37.7 billion Jindal fortune, which sits at number 3 in India, remember, was fundamentally restructured after a pretty tragic event. Back in 2005, founder O.P. Jindal sadly died in a helicopter crash. This sudden loss led to the group's companies being divided up among his 4 sons. Today, it operates as this massive, decentralized empire, where the sons actually run their companies independently, but it's all overseen by the matriarch and chairwoman, Savitri Jindal.
And it's fascinating to see how 2 of those brothers took their independent shares in vastly different directions. Mumbai-based Sajan oversees the biggest assets, like JSW Steel and Cement, and he recently pivoted into a highly successful EV joint venture with MG Motor. I mean, they've already sold 100,000 EVs. He's also taking JSW Cement public in 2025. Meanwhile, you have Delhi-based Naveen, who manages Jindal Steel and Power. He recently made some major strategic political realignments, officially moving to the Bharatiya Janata Party in March of 2024. Meanwhile, our fourth billionaire on the list, Lakshmi Mittal, took his family steel legacy and absolutely blew it up globally. By separating from his siblings and eventually merging his Mittal Steel with France's Arcelor in 2006, he created ArcelorMittal. We are talking about the world's largest steel and mining company by output. And the financial results? Just staggering. They brought in over $3.1 billion in net income in 2025 alone. That is a massive 142% rise from the previous year. You know, these billionaires also have wildly contrasting approaches to managing their global wealth. While Mittal, who was a longtime UK resident, eventually shifted his base over to Switzerland to navigate new tax regimes, our next billionaire takes the exact opposite approach. Cyrus Poonawalla keeps his headquarters and his massive operations firmly and deeply anchored in Pune, India. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, Biotech and Beyond with Cyrus Poonawalla. With a net worth of $28.3 billion, making him number 85 in the world, Cyrus Poonawalla founded the Serum Institute of India way back in 1966. Today it stands as the absolute largest vaccine maker by doses in the entire world. Operating out of Pune, they're responsible for producing over 1.5 billion vaccine doses a year. We're talking about direct global impact here, folks. They are fighting diseases like measles, polio, and the flu on an unprecedented scale. And under the leadership of his UK-educated son and CEO, Adar Poonawalla, the company not only massively scaled their health impact, like investing $800 million for a brand new COVID-19 vaccine factory right at the peak of the pandemic, but they also aggressively diversified their personal assets. I mean, Adar purchased a £138 million mansion in London's Mayfair. And in what feels like a fascinating billionaire crossover episode, he actually partnered with steel magnate Lakshmi Mittal in 2026 to buy the Indian Premier League cricket team, the Rajasthan Royals, for $1.65 billion. Finally, let's look at Section 4, Legacy, Succession, and the Future. Because what we're seeing right now across the board is a very active transition of power. From Aditya Mittal stepping up as CEO of ArcelorMittal back in 2021, to Adar Poonawalla aggressively expanding the Serum Institute and managing major family investments, to that calculated specific division of Reliance's massive sectors among the three Ambani children. This wealth is not static. The next generation is already in the driver's seat of these legacy empires. So I want to leave you with this final thought. As these monumental industrial, energy, and biotech fortunes change hands, how will the strategies of this new generation reshape not just India's domestic landscape, but the entire global market? Are we going to see more massive green energy pivots, more aggressive global diversification, or maybe entirely new industries being born from this inherited capital? It is an absolutely fascinating space to watch. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning how the titans of today are building the world of tomorrow.